Hello, my name is Lilian Silva. I'm the forage specialist at Clemson University, and today on Forage Drops, I'll be talking about some strategies to feed horses. So let's get started. One of the main points when feeding horses is to make sure that you're using good quality forage. Generally, the recommendations for leisure horses to be consuming up to 2.5% of their body weight in forage per day. When they are consuming large amounts of concentrates, horses should be fed at least 1% of their body weight in forage per day, just to have enough fiber in the diet. Adequate intake of good quality forage is important for proper gut function, and good quality hay generally is the best approach, so we can also be making sure that they are having enough nutrients supply based on their requirements. Generally, good hay quality is characterized by having a fresh smell, green color, high leaf content, and no weeds or other debris on it. And when using pastures, pastures should not have toxic weeds or trees, and also be well managed and contain safe and palatable forages for the animals to eat. Then some other recommendations to always make sure that your horse has access to clean and fresh water. On average, a horse consumes 8 to 10 gallons or more of water per day, and clean fresh water should be available at all times, particularly before and after feeding. Exercising horses should be offered water immediately after working, but the amount of water that they drink on one time should be limited until the animal is cooled down. Then, one thing that we should be always be aware of is that when we're feeding, we need to be feeding based on the weight, not the volume of a feed, just because feedstuffs vary in density. And so, for example, a scoop of oats versus one scoop of pellets has different weights. And generally, commercial concentrates may vary across manufacturers or even from batch to batch. So that's important to be weighing and not just using a general measurement to feed your animals. The same is true for hay, as not all flakes or blocks within a batch will be the same. Feeding small meals ensures a horse can better absorb nutrients before the feed passes into the hindgut for fermentation. Feeding meals on a regular schedule, preferably every 12 hours, maximize nutrients absorption and minimize the risk of colic as well. Then make sure that your horse is maintaining proper body condition, because horses feel and perform best at their ideal body condition. It takes, when you're making changes on the diet of an animal, the recommendation is to substitute small amounts of a feed to another slowly, just because it takes at least 2 weeks to safely switch a diet, for example, if a horse is on a high grain diet, to another basis. And the recommendation is to really present small amounts, include small amounts of the changed feed, and gradually increase that change until the amount that you would like the animal to be eating of the new feed stuff. Then when feeding horses in groups, use individual feeders for concentrates, just to make sure that each animal is actually consuming enough of that feed. And always make sure that you're storing the feed stuff and the hay in a proper storage. Can be a barn or just the containers that you're using, how you're keeping them, to avoid spoilage and contamination and even losses of material or other factors, other quality factors, because of the exposition to rainfall, wildlife, and other issues that can happen. The recommendation for store hay is to have it covered in a dry place away from moisture that may cause toxic mold growth. And when using pastures for your animals to be grazing, the recommendation is to use rotational management, just because that way you can ensure that you are going to be giving the forage enough time to regrowth, but also you are going to be able to optimize the distribution of excreta, which is manure, and urine that's being deposited back to the pasture, and that's going to be helping on the forage production and quality of that pasture, just because we are going to be recycling much of that back to the system. And then with this, I conclude what I have on Forage Drops. I hope you have enjoyed this video and appreciate your support by watching it. Thank you so much.